Today is the finale of the Smart Longevity series, and I'm going to start the finale in a strange way with a confession. I've made two important mistakes building this series, and I want to share them with you. Hi, I'm Chantal, and welcome to AI for 50 Plus, Born Before Wi-Fi, Owning AI. If you've been following along, you know that we spent the whole series building a personal health system with the help of AI. We've built some notebooks, longevity, well-being. We also looked at chronological age versus biological age. We've looked at brain fog, social isolation, and so many other fun things. Today, we close it out. So here's the plan. I'm going to start with sharing the two mistakes I made in this series, and then I'll share with you the most important lesson of the whole series, the trap that you can fall into that I call the optimization death spiral, and the 3 ways to pull yourself out of it. Let me start briefly with what I got wrong, the two mistakes I made. And I have some notes here so that I don't forget anything. My first mistake was it was way too long. I made this series 10 videos long, including the one where I talk about the flaw in Gemini, and because of that I had to pivot in terms of the process. Well, that was 10 videos. And why did I do 10? Well, because I had a blast planning it. I was getting excited on paper, just seeing what was coming. And setting up the notebooks and doing the comparison between biological age and chronological age, that's my idea of fun. At some point, my longevity notebook had 294 sources, 294. And I was proud of that. Now, I did a bit of cleanup since then, and now I think it's down to 170 something. But the point is, I was enjoying myself. And I had so much fun that I forgot the whole point of this series, which is not about doing videos where I'm having fun, but actually doing videos that can help you. And I realized this not at the beginning. I would say at the 5th or 6th video, at some point my husband said, well, I watched the video and it was really interesting, but I didn't set up the notebooks, so I couldn't really do it. And setting up those notebooks, it's a lot of work. Now, for me, it's not work, it's fun. But he was right, and I knew it, but I kept going anyways, because some of my favorite videos were coming up. The comparing, for example, chronological age and biological age. My God, I'm still excited about it. So I heard him, but I didn't really stop. And what he said, it's way too much work to set up. That's mistake number 2. I locked people out by doing that. So the setup itself is not something that everybody would do. It's for people like me, a bit of a nerd who likes to have those huge notebooks, and then I can ask so many questions and use it in so many ways. And I really do. I think it's really worth it. But most people watching my videos won't do that. So that's the whole foundation of the series. So if you did the setup, that's great. Everything else, all the other videos fall like nicely. But if you didn't, or if you came in the 4th video, say, and you hadn't set it up, yes, I do give you a link in the description to go back to video 1. But if you're not in the mood to do it, well, most of what followed was not very useful. So I built a series that if you missed the first setup, the rest were really no good. And that's not really a series, that's really a closed door. So in my career in the past, I was a litigator, and being shut out was something that I used to stand against. I wanted to make sure that everybody could be heard. And I spent my career fighting that, and here I was doing it in my own channel. So what I would do differently, well, next time I'm going to do, again, some standalone videos, and I might do another series. But if I do another series, it's going to be 4 or 5 videos max, and I won't give you a pile of homework for the series to work. It's going to be something simple that you're going to be able to use, and then, so not something as demanding as 2 notebooks with 200 plus sources. And I'm telling you this because I think you deserve to know that I own my mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes as long as you don't repeat them all the time, and as long as you do something about it. What really stings is that those 2 separate mistakes are really a textbook illustration of the trap that I wanted to warn you about when I started planning for this video. Originally, when I planned this finale video, I decided that I wanted to talk to you about that trap. And then I thought about it, and I decided to talk about the mistakes because they're perfect illustration of that trap. So what is it? It's what I call the optimization death spiral, and it's when the tracking itself becomes the stress instead of the fix, or when you want to have a system to help it, like in this case with your health, your longevity, but you're optimizing the system and not your health or your longevity. So for people like me who likes a good system, organizing the data and making it better and having a better notebook feels like progress, but it's not. Your body hasn't changed. You're just optimizing the system. And it became to the point for me that building the system became like a second job. And that's what it got me, like with a series that was actually never ending. So here are the signs that you're stuck into that optimization spiral. The first one is just one more source. So I have to tell you ahead of time, I fell into each of these. So just one more source. So you keep adding sources to NotebookLM, to your notebook, because, I didn't get the little micro specialized point about women of 62 years old instead of women over 50 or 60, for example. So the notebook grows and improves, but your habits really don't. So remember my longevity notebook with 294 sources? That was exactly it. Sign number 1. Sign number 2, debating the labels. And boy, did I do that one. So if you look at the first video, I'm talking about the fact that I ranked, with the help of NotebookLM and Perplexity to do the research, I did a ranking of factors that affect positively or negatively, but in this case, well, yes, actually it was both, longevity and day-to-day well-being, different factors ranked differently, and it was ranked in Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. So I spent so much time debating with NotebookLM and then going to Perplexity to check and then going back to ChatGPT to brainstorm. For example, about hydration. Is hydration in well-being, is that a Tier 1 factor or a Tier 2? And that I spent so much time doing it, but I wasn't drinking the water, So that's a sign when you're so into like micro details and you're not progressing with what you're supposed to be optimizing. Sign number 3 is perfectly organized notebooks going nowhere. And that was me. So my notebooks are beautiful. I customize them. They're well organized. Everything is perfect. What I do in the studio, the names are clear. But, I wasn't really using them. I did use some of it, yes, because I had been using it before. But yeah, it was more important to make it pretty than to really use it for my own longevity. So organization is not optimization. And the 4th sign is a project that never ends. You keep growing the build. So one more tab, one more dashboard, one more video, instead of finishing and living it. So Exhibit A is this series that has 10 videos when it should have been 5, really. So if the system is a source of friction, it's not optimization, it's an obstacle. Before I give you the way out, if you want practical one-on-one AI help and you're over 50 or younger, I don't check IDs, I'm offering AI clarity sessions. Check the pinned comment or the description for more details. Now, let me give you the 3 breaks that can get you out of that death spiral. The first one is stop at 80%. Once NotebookLM confirms about 80% of the research, stop researching and start doing. And give it maybe a 30-day run or less. If you're like me, I don't think I would want 80% for that long of a period, but at least 10 days. 80% evidence plus 100% action beats 100% evidence and 80% action every time. Number 1. Number 2, match every hour. That's a tough one. So for every hour you spend on a notebook or on optimizing your system, spend an hour doing the thing. No, not doing it, no notebook. So, and that's not punishment, it's protection. I'm starting to feel like doing my AI projects are a reward, but I need to do the work before I can get the reward. And maybe the last one is ask one question. Open the right notebook and just say, what's the single most important change I can do within the next 24 hours? And then do that one thing, walk away and do something else, or, go for a walk. So I think those are ways that can help you just snap out of it, because I don't know if you're like me, but when I'm focused on one of my projects and I go down that rabbit hole, I'm like, I could not eat, actually, because I fast, sometimes I don't, but I could not eat and do like 10 hours in a row. So those breaks are really to help you come up for air. Now, what would I retain from this whole series? Really is that the goal of this system and of any other system really is to make the system unnecessary. So the point is, you set up your system, you work at it, you see how it affects you, and at some point you'll know what being hydrated feels like, or you'll know how many hours of sleep you need. You won't need your Oura ring or your system and notebook. You will know. The whole point is a bit like when you started learning how to use a bicycle. You had those training wheels, and it was from the beginning, it was understood that at some point you'll remove them. Well, it's the same thing here. Use the AI to see the patterns, because sometimes we don't stop and look, and AI is very useful for that, and that system is very useful. Then use the system to build the habits. So you continue looking at the patterns, building the habit, and then you live your life, really. If this series, even with the mistakes, have changed even a little bit how you feel about AI, I have a small ask. Hit subscribe, because I've learned my lesson. If I ever do another series, not in the near future, I won't do it longer than 4 or 5 videos, and I won't ask you to do a pile of homework to be able to follow. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.